welcome to another Tuesday night edition of Seeking Advice Podcast. I am, of course, your host, Dale, and I just want to welcome everybody back to the podcast. It has been a hot minute since we've done this episode, but guys, life has been busy. Things have been going really well. I always admit to saying that I do have my own struggles every single day, but that is not the reason why I don't do the podcast. I say this show here is a special type of show. Like I just don't want to bring on just anybody and everybody. Everybody does have a voice, everybody has an opinion, everybody is dealing something in their lives. But I look for those special stories that are out there and people that I've known over the years, people I've known just through Facebook, people I've met through conventions, being in the paranormal field. And tonight's guest is no different. Truly remarkable lady coming your way to talk about her story and her struggles. And she laid out a post, I believe it was last week or the week before, I can't really remember, but just reading uh, what she said was it just struck me right in the heart because I can me myself I tell people all the time I don't know what it's like. I've never been addicted to alcohol or drugs, but I've known hundreds of people that have. Some of them are still with us today. They've been on our show. They've been a part of my life, and I always give praise for those people that can overcome addictions because it is a whole new challenge set out by life. Life is challenging as it is, but to have to deal with a substance abuse, it is just makes it that much harder. Before I bring out tonight's guests, just like I said, when I look at these things and then I have to go back and look at what the statistics are saying about today's day and age, and it a lot of things are going on in the world. A lot of people are turning to substance abuses because life is so difficult, and they think this is the road to help them ease their pain. So just I mean, a lot of people out there, if you don't know, just so going through the statistics, so a national survey was put out. This is probably a year or two old now. Or actually, this was posted on March 26th of 2025, so just a few months ago. It it states that 48.5 million people, or 16% of people 12 and older, are battling with just substance abuse or disorders. And 10.2% of Americans 12 and older are have alcohol dependency or abuse disorders. Looking at those numbers staring me in the face, that is awfully alarming. That that's 26% of the population has some kind of a addiction problem. And why are we in this kind of a situation? What is it? Why do people need to turn to drugs and alcohol to cope with life? And I can say life is difficult. Life is can be a challenge. And sometimes we just do it in the beginning just to kind of ease out our take the little edge off and to relax a little, to shut our minds down. But then over time, it just becomes a habit, and a habit becomes a problem. And actually, you're this is your whole life, and you don't know how to function without it. But like I said, 26% of the population is addicted or has some kind of problem. And please, if you're one of those people that are having an alcohol or drug problem, please turn to somebody, talk to somebody, seek out counseling, seek out help. Just talk to somebody. You know, I would rather talk to you than have to deal with going to your funeral and knowing that this was the reason why you ended your life, because people do die from alcohol and drug abuse every single day. Thousands of people are dying per day. But enough about me ranting and talking. I want to bring out this lovely lady to tell her story and what she's been through. So please welcome to Seeking Pies podcast, my good friend, Rachel Bradley.
Hi, Dale. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. And like I said, I read your post that you put out there a little while ago about
July
what you've
13th.
been through. And I mean, somebody, I believe we've only met once, maybe twice, but I know once for sure out in Connecticut.
Mm,
Part of, I think was it Connecticut? I can't remember.
I know I've met you somewhere, but I can't remember where I've
Right.
met you, Dale. But I know I've met you like at
Yeah.
least one time. I know I
Yeah.
have. I want. Have you ever been to Gettysburg? Was it Gettysburg?
No, it's on my bucket list of places to go. I mean, Mr. Tim Shaw loves that place, and I tell you, he's like, you really need to get your ass to Gettysburg, and I would love to, and I will get there. I promise everybody, one day Gettysburg will be on the top of my bucket list of places to attend, because I hear it's absolutely beautiful and very active. We got a couple of your supporters on the side. Steven, thank you so much
Hey,
for joining
Stephen.
us. And of course, Mr.
Big
Andrew
Daddy Angie.
Sr., how you doing? Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you,
yeah,
guys.
like I said, when I saw your posts, it kind of took me back a bit, because when I did remember meeting you, I'm like, it didn't seem you were the type, and it's just one of those kind of things that we really don't know when we do talk to people or meet people, like what they're actually going through in their personal lives, because on the outside we all seem to have our shit together, but
Yeah.
behind closed doors we all know, many of us don't. But
Hmm.
you know what, this is what makes life beautiful and challenging all at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
uh, I'm going to just basically throw it out there. How did this kind of scenario begin with you? Um,
Well, had nothing to do with my childhood. I had an amazing childhood, two very amazing parents. My dad was a musician. He played bluegrass, southern rock, country, blues. So, and while my mom and him were married, I went to a lot of, let's say, adult parties with them, and was around a lot of people who drank from a very, very, very early age. Not that I was drinking or anything. I'm
right.
not that early. Um, but it was just always kind of a part of my life. And then when I was 10, either 10 or 11, I can't exactly remember now, my parents split up. And I'm an only child. I have no brothers or sisters. So I didn't really have anyone that I could go through it with. So I had older friends, and some of them smoked cigarettes, so I wanted to be like the cool kids. And so it started off with me sneaking some of my dad's Marlboro Light 100s. Making sure like the packs looked perfect in his carton as I stole, one whole pack, for me and my friends. So that's kind of how it started. And then it just it progressed from there. But what really, really threw it over for me and tipped me over into the life of addiction that I did have was the passing of my father when I was 14. My real dad. He was a very heavy smoker, very heavy drinker. Alcoholism does run on both sides of my family, so I was prone from the get to just, I hate to say, unfortunately, get some form of an addiction issue. Um, just kind of in my DNA. And I hate to put it that way, but it is, scientifically proven that, people who come from, an addictive, you know, family, especially if you have it from both sides, you just kind of get that double whammy against you. Um, but you asked why people do it. My reason was I, again, didn't have anybody to talk to because at the same time I was grieving, my mom was grieving at the same time.
Right.
Um, so neither one of us really, we knew how to handle each other, but we didn't, if that makes any kind of sense, at all. Um, because we were both just so sad. Because we knew, I mean, my dad was a very tall man. He was 6'5", 175 pounds, tall drink of water, just a very tall man. Life of the party, just a great, great guy. And he ended up getting really sick really quick. He was a very stubborn man. He did not like going to the doctor. I get that from him. And he ended up losing like 40 pounds in 3 months. Well, when he went to the doctor, long story short, they found something in his lungs. And when they opened them up, they realized he had a tumor in his chest cavity wall. And so they removed all that. Long story short, 2 weeks later, he developed complications and had a blood clot move up to his heart and made it stop. So, he passed away 15 days after my 14th birthday. So that was a very hard hit as a young teenage girl that had kind of already dabbled a little bit in having a drink here and having a drink there. And I knew how it made me felt. And I picked it up, and then I didn't know how to stop for a very long time. And luckily now I have, but it was just a comfort thing for me. It was something that no matter what problem I had, whether it was a happy time, I wanted to drink for it. Whether it was a sad time, I wanted to drink. Whether I was bored, I wanted to drink. It was just something that was kind of like in me, if that
Yeah.
if that makes sense whatsoever. So
Yeah, no, I mean, you are definitely true, are right when you come from somebody who drinks um, in life, especially when it's both parents that drink. Yeah, you kind of just you think that it's normal and that's the way to live
mhm.
life.
Yeah.
And as a parent myself, I always thought about a lot of the upbringing I have. Like I just like you, I had two amazing parents, and just they were always drinking. My dad was always an alcoholic. My dad was an alcoholic for as long as I could ever remember. Um, but he drank because he was hiding a lifelong secret.
Mhm.
Not just people don't go wild and think, oh, he had a, my dad drank to hide who he was. He wasn't. He was one of when you understand an older generation, you know, you had to be a certain way, you had to act a certain way, and my dad just wasn't that way. So that's the reason why he drank. It was just to cover up who he was. And I mean, he was still a great guy. He was still my dad. He was still my best friend,
Yes.
and I miss him to this day. He's been 20 years this year that he's gone, but not it's not about me, but I can understand always being around the drinking, around the smoking.
Mhm.
Now, for me, it was a little bit different when it came to smoking because I was born an asthmatic. So my dad always looked at me and said, "You smoke, you die." That always stuck in my head. So that was the one thing. But I always remember when people would be over at our house drinking, I would
Mhm.
sneak and drinking my dad's beer. You
Yeah.
know,
I did the same
I
thing, I did the same thing
so
as a kid. So, but yeah, and it's just, there's just been there's just been a lot that, has just happened to me that has been like not real bad childhood traumas, but I got bullied a lot as a kid, starting in about third grade through 12th grade. Yeah, my mom, I'm 6'2". Okay. By the time I was 8, I was 5'3". By the time I was 10, I was 5'10". So, and my mom kept my hair is not short. My hair is very long. It's just up in the bun because I work today. But my mom kept my hair very, very short because it was just easier to manage. Well, everybody, Saved by the Bell, Screech. I was
Right.
tall, I was lanky. That's what they called me. And that just
Right.
got underneath my skin.
Yeah.
And so, it's just relentless bullying over and over and over the years. So going into the whole alcohol thing, when I started drinking more heavy when I was 14, I fell into the more drinking crowd, the older crowd, where we would go over to a friend's house and, I would be walking in with 4 cases of beer saying, all right, who the hell wants to play quarters? And we would sit down at the table and I would be the last one sitting there,
Right.
and I grew a tolerance to it, but it was fun and it made me feel good because I felt popular. I felt like I was part of the crowd.
Right.
Um, so that's always been a big thing with me too, because I never, for so many years until I decided to get sober last year, for so many years I did, like you said, I didn't know how to live life without drinking. I didn't. I didn't, and it was a lot worse. In my previous marriage, because in my previous marriage, it wasn't. Let's just say it was not a good situation at all.
Right.
Um, the only good thing I got out of it was my two amazing. Well, they're men now. My two boys. That's the only good thing I got out of that. But that was another thing. I got even heavier into the drinking during that time because that was how I was coping. Another coping, because it's
Yeah.
another trauma that I endured. And see, all the times that, like I said, even if it was happy times or sad times or whatever times, I was always thinking about when am I going to get my next drink. Almost like, not to compare apples to oranges, but almost, I hate to say it, almost like a crackhead saying, okay, when am I going to get my next fix? Or a heroin addict saying, okay, when am I going to get my next, when am I going to get my next fix? It's the same thing. I used to always make the running joke, oh, you got to bite the dog that bit you, because I would wake up with horrendous hangovers. And the only way to get over it was pop it open, buck
Yep.
it back,
Yep. Hair of the
100%
dog every morning.
every morning, every morning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, you know, I, I just, I was always the one who was the life of the party. I was always the one who, oh, I have to outdrink everybody. Oh, I have to show not dominance, but that I'm the cool one, that I'm the
Right.
one that kind of everybody wants to be like, when in reality, I was pretty much making an ass of myself, because I was getting sloppy drunk, like blackout drunk,
Right.
and waking up, waking up, I, got drunk, so drunk one night at my own house. I had my mom was beating on my car window the next morning, waking me up, and I don't know how I got in my car. I know I
Right.
didn't go anywhere because I didn't have my keys on me, but
Right.
somehow I got in my car, and next morning my mom was waking me up, and I think I was 17 at the time,
Wow. You know.
and it was very hard for my mom to control me because I just had so much anger towards me losing my dad. Even though deep down in my soul, I knew it was not my mama's fault. I knew 100% it was not my mama's fault, but I took it out on her until this day. And that's one thing, she dealt with so much of my drinking. And then, so did my boys. There were times they were picking my head up. Mama, you okay? And that's hard.
Yeah, it's
That's a hard. That's a hard thing to hear and for them to remember. And it's just stuff like that 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 really makes me question why I even did it now, since
right,
I'm sober and I'm not living in that addictive
right,
cycle of thinking. Um, I'm just like, wow, I have trauma from my childhood, but that's trauma that I gave them and theirs. And that's
right.
something I can never take back. I could try to make up for it every day. Which I do. I mean, don't get me wrong. Me and our boys, we have
Yeah,
the best relationship. My oldest works with me, so it's good. I
yeah,
get to see him every day. But it's just something that I will regret to the day that the good Lord takes me home.
right.
I just for so many years I called so many people in my life narcissists because all they thought about was themselves. Because, well, I wanted to go drink. Well, not tonight, we're not going to drink. Oh, well, that equals into, well, you're not thinking about me, you're only thinking about yourself.
Right.
um you know Stuff like that. Again, when you get out of that addictive lifestyle and addictive way of thinking, you're like, you were projecting what you saw in yourself onto them,
Yep.
and you were hating them because you were hating yourself secretly.
Yeah.
Didn't really realize it at the time, but at that time you were secretly hating yourself because you were seeing yourself. You were literally even though you weren't literally looking at yourself, you were
Yeah.
looking at yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, you were talking about the abusive situations you went through, and and a lot of people too, like losing a parent or losing somebody close to you. It's for people that have never lost somebody in that close to them in their lives. I say it is hard because you have to find ways to cope. You have to find ways to wake up and function.
You do.
And it's unfortunate that alcohol is the most easiest of drug to get because
Yep.
especially in the United States, you can go to the corner store, you can go to the gas station, you can go to the grocery store, or you don't have to go to a liquor store or just a beer store to get it. You can find it just about anywhere. It is the most accessible drug that is made available to us. And this is why I think a lot of people do have that addiction and that abuse
Mhm.
problem is because it is so easy to get. And yeah, at first it's like, oh, this is fun. Oh, I like how this makes me feel. Oh, I can
Yep.
sleep so much better. Like you said, then the next day you wake up and you're like, oh my god, I feel like total shit.
Yes.
I'll just have a quick drink, and then I'll be boom. It was always funny because when I was drinking, people knew I was drinking because my fridge would be loaded with chocolate milk.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because I could never be one of those to drink the next morning.
Hmm.
But thank you so much for joining us, K2 Paranormal. But yeah, you like I said, but I would be the type of person I could drink for 3 days straight, but then I
Hmm.
wouldn't drink for 2 months.
Sure.
The only time I can recall that I got close to remotely become an alcoholic, and you're right, you don't even realize you're becoming one
Hmm.
until somebody slaps you in the face with it, then you just realize, well, what do you mean? So when you think of an alcoholic, you think, well, somebody that needs to drink 20. No, that's really not what an alcoholic is. An alcoholic is somebody who's just totally dependent on alcohol.
Hmm.
And I mean, it's there's different forms of being an alcoholic. But after my first marriage ended, I felt like such a failure that I was working in a bar, so hey, we go out and party all the time, and it was one day I think I came home. It was like 3 weeks straight of coming home drunk, and my brother finally pushed me against the wall, and he looked at me dead in the eye. He goes, "You want to be like our father?" And I was like, "Holy shit,
Yeah.
no, I don't."
Reality check.
Yeah, and and I'm awful grateful to my older brother for pointing that out to me, and but some of us don't get that. Like you said, you're the only child, so you really had to deal with all this stress and life's pressure on your own, and it was unfortunate that it was the alcohol that you turned to. Hi, Pat. Thank you for joining us. And KD Paranormal. Thank you. But yeah, it's a crazy cycle, and you think you're just having fun, and you're just out doing it, but then, like you said, you're really hiding. And when you were talking about taking it out on others, I think we do just that in everyday life. Like
We
when we're
do.
angry, we treat the closest person to us like shit,
Yep.
and it's not that you really want to, but it's kind of like a comfort thing knowing that, oh, I can be really mean to this person, but they're gonna love me anyways.
Hmm. Yep. You
So
always hurt the ones who are closest to you, and that's what I did for many, many years. With with my drinking, and it's the past is the past. There's nothing I can do about it. All I can do is look forward to the future and be better every day. Better than I was yesterday, and that's what I try to do. You know, uh, my oldest son, at 8 years old, was sitting with my mom looking through a paper. Like it was called the Gotcha paper. It's like where they had people arrested and they posted their mugshots in this paper called Gotcha. Um, and you would usually see somebody you went to school with because it was in the county where I grew up in, and there was always an ad in there that said, if you have problems with alcohol or drugs, please call this number.
right,
And my 8-year-old looked at that and looked at my mom and said, Nanny, my mama needs to call that number.
right,
So 8 years old, that was a big slap in the face right there. That was a big reality check for me right there.
right,
And I didn't believe, I didn't believe the people who told me. I didn't believe them. And my mama told me that yes, your son said that, and the man that I'm married to now, my husband said yes, your son said that, and I said,
right,
"There's no way my son would say that. No, no, it's not that bad," and it was.
right. Yeah,
But I calmed down my drinking a lot after that point. With the help of my husband Neil. I limited myself to only a certain amount of beers a night. Usually two, sometimes three, just so I could still have that feeling of being able to drink, but also kind of start um, trying to control it, trying to quell those demons that had a hold of me for so many years. um and but it still didn't stop me from doing those times that I regret now of just getting just stupid drunk for no reason. Don't
right,
couldn't tell you why. Couldn't tell you why I chose that day to go all out and just get stupid drunk to the point where you're yakking, and that's one thing I
yeah,
hate. I hate throwing up. Ugh. That's, that's one thing I hate. Um, and I don't know why. I don't know what that trigger was,
right,
but when that happened, when then in that, and I started kind of, it was really brought to my attention, like really brought to my attention, and I started thinking about it. Um, and last year came around, I came to a crossroads, in my life, and I had to choose whether I wanted the alcohol or my amazing, awesome life that I have. And here I sit 402 days later. Yay me.
Absolutely, and congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
like I said, it does sometimes come down to a wake-up call in
It
one
does.
form or another that makes us truly realize, wow, what have I been doing? And yeah, I truly need to make a life decision
Hmm.
to see who's like how I need to live a better life.
Thank you.
Uh, but yeah, no, it is definitely I so that decision came. So I have to ask, what kind of did you seek out any professional help, or was
Actually,
it just with
it
the love
was
and support of the people that were always around you?
That's exactly what it was. Nothing wrong with people who seek professional help. Nothing wrong with going to AA or NA or any of those programs. I thoroughly, thoroughly, if you have any addiction issues whatsoever, please, please, please get some help. It'll be the best decision you ever make in your whole entire life. And trust me, this is coming from somebody who could not put the alcohol down. Um, but no, I just have my circle that I have is of my friends, my family, my friends who are family, you know, just everyone who I'm surrounded by ever since I made this decision has backed me 150%. They have said, "You've got this. We know you can do this. You are stronger than you realize. You are one of the strongest people that I have ever met." There's been, you know, it's just it's weird to talk about it. It's just kind of surreal still to me to talk about it and just really be able to say, wow, I just can't believe I haven't had a drink in 402 days. And that's how I go off on my little side tangents. I'm so sorry. Um, but it's just my support system. I couldn't ask for a better group of amazing souls that surround me that help me through this. Because without them, I I wouldn't have been able to do it. I know me. I know me personally. I wouldn't
Right.
have had the willpower by myself. So
Yeah,
I
I
wouldn't have
mean,
had anybody to push me. I wouldn't have had
yeah,
anybody to give me that encouragement. That
uh,
you know what, you're a fucking rock star. Pardon my French. You're amazing. You can do this. You got this. You look. It's 35 days. Look, it's 70 days. Look, you've hit your 6 months. Look, you're 9 months. Man, look. Oh my God, it's been me. Oh my God, it's been a year. What? What? It's just it's it's one of the best feelings in the whole entire world. Sorry.
don't be
Crazy
sorry.
fast.
This is. I mean, I don't do this show because I get to see people break down. I do it because you know what? You are all of that. You are a rock star. You are somebody who is strong enough to overcome anything and every life's challenge. We all are. And I'm so grateful that you had the love and support of your friends, your family, and people in the community. Like being a part of, like I said, one of the most supportive communities is the paranormal field.
Hmm.
Like when I, it's truly amazing to see just how well we are connected with one another. It was the
Absolutely.
paranormal that brought us together, but that's how we found people that we truly bond with and care about. And
And
you
that
get
is a
to
lot of my
understand who
circle.
your true friends are when you're dealing with life's challenges.
Yes,
A
sir.
lot of people will turn around and run because they were never a true friend. And I'm so glad that you did this on your own. And yes, not a lot of people can do that. That takes even more courage, what you did, than to go check into a rehab, to go through the programs. Nothing wrong with that. It is there
No,
for a reason. It is there
absolutely.
because maybe a lot of people don't have the support system you did.
Yes, sir.
But if making that attempt, it doesn't matter how it looks, what it looks like. If you have to go check into a facility because it will get you away from the temptation,
Hmm.
and that is the hardest part of any recovery is
Yes.
the temptation because you're going to go open up that fridge and you're going to see that beer sitting there and you're going to be, oh, I just want to guzzle you down. It's been a stressful day. Oh, where's the whiskey bottle?
Hmm.
It's the temptation is absolutely mind blowing. And the way you did it, like I said, I applaud you. I am so proud of you. And
Thank you,
for
Dale.
100 plus days,
Yeah.
you got this. And it's not to
Yeah.
say, and like I
It's
tell
not.
people, it is going to be a battle for the rest of your life. It will be
Hmm.
because temptation is there each and every day.
It is.
So don't give up. Keep going. However, you have to do that. Mark it on a calendar to make it look good. Keep those numbers in your head.
It's, that's actually what I do. Ever since I got sober, I have marked off every day, every month, and marked it 60 days, 90 days, 120. And I've got the whole year of my sobriety journey.
That
So,
that is so amazing and awesome.
yeah.
Um, like I said, the most important of that was your sobriety for the people that were supporting you and the reality, and I can feel it, your reality and the disappointment you felt coming through all of this is the hardest. But just
Yeah.
know, don't beat yourself up too much about it because you know what? Their love and support never went away. They knew eventually you would come around, and I'm so glad that you did.
Yeah.
So don't beat yourself up about it. Your boys love you more than anything in this world. Everybody around you loves you and so proud of you. So, like I said, we've got a whole sideshow just telling you just how proud they are.
I know. I'm seeing all the
Uh,
comments. I love all y'all. Thanks for saying you're all proud of me. I love y'all. But
but
yeah, it was a very it was like I said, it was the best decision I could have ever made.
right,
And then along all of the, along all of this journey that I'm making, I ended up starting having some health issues after I stopped drinking of all times, that I'm dealing with now. That if I was still in that addictive state, I would be trying to drink away. So
right.
they're trying to figure out what's going on with me now, but everything's good. I know I don't have cancer, so that's a good thing.
That's a blessed thing.
That's a
Thank
blessing
you.
right there.
I
Um,
hate hearing too many of my friends have that C
yeah,
word.
I know it
Yeah,
is, and seeing that runs on both sides of my family, so I'm kind of a double pew 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 at me kind of gal, family wise with all of the fun stuff.
right,
But like when I made that post, on the 13th, I had just lost my stepdad, who had been in my life since my dad passed, 2 days before, and that it was like losing my dad all over again.
right,
Um, we knew, I mean, my dad's was kind of one of those hard bam in your face, kind of hits for me. I mean, I can still recall where I was at. I was in fourth period gym class, Mrs. Allport, and the principal called me to the office. And as soon as I walked in and saw my mom and my nana, I knew
yeah,
something happened. But my stepdad, he had a litany of health issues, and he had been put on hospice because dialysis wasn't working anymore for him.
right,
So I got to actually spend time with him and and say my goodbye like I didn't get to do with my dad. So excuse me. So you know, that was just a that was another hard hit. But for me not to even, I didn't even think about wanting to go and pick up any alcohol to cope,
Right. Right.
because I, through this whole sobriety journey, because you know, you use alcohol, you use the drugs, like we say, to escape reality,
Right.
to just get away from whatever you're having to deal with, um, you know, and everything. And so then I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Um,
It
yeah, it's just, you know, it's just it's a good thing, you know. But
yeah.
oh, my stepdad, that's what I was talking. This is something else that's going on with me right now too. But no, my stepdad, losing him, I was I'm very, very proud of myself for not even having that inkling of thought of having to want any kind of alcohol just to
Right.
cope. Because now, since I'm not living, that's what I was getting ready to say. It's coming back. Just gotta reel the fish back in. Not living in an addictive state of mind anymore. I've learned how to cope with everything right here instead of masking it, and
Right.
then it still be right there the next day, you know, with you know, drinking. So yeah.
And that brings out another really good point. People that are addicted to drugs and alcohol, that are using it as a coping situation to cover up a problem they might have, like failing relationships, a loss of somebody. What a lot of people realize is when I wake up the next morning, guess what? It's all still there.
Yeah.
And so it is better to deal with life's challenges head on, as difficult as they mean, with a sober mind, than it is to mask it with what I call a band aid that's
Hmm.
just going to be ripped off in a couple of hours when you sober up.
Exactly.
And to craving for the fix. Uh, like I said, that's the life's challenges. This is why I say anybody who's had an addiction problem, it just because you've overcome it by 400 days doesn't mean you can't go back. It's a constant battle within yourself
Hmm.
and those demons to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I can have just one drink today."
Yeah.
No, you really can't because
No,
it's
no,
yeah,
no.
it'll start out. And the
It'll
reason
start
why I say
the
that,
spiral all over again. No.
yeah, uh, my dad did get clean and sober, but after a while, yeah, he would go back home to see his brothers and his sisters, and he would have a drink with them. And I just kept thinking, like, no, that's not a good thing.
Hmm.
You just got over the battle, and now you think you have it conquered when it's so easy to slip back into to that addiction mind once again. So,
It is.
like I said, this is not something that'll end today. I look forward to hearing about you being 3,000 days sober. You know,
Me
that's
too.
that's but still it's the constant challenges or looking at it. I hear a lot of same things with people who are trying to give up smoking. Well, I can't be around smokers because then I just want to crave it. You know, yeah,
Well,
you have to change your mind style, your lifestyle, and your mind too. It's
you do, but I'll tell you this: cigarettes were 10 times harder, because I just quit smoking cigarettes because I thought I had some issues with my lungs. So I just stopped smoking. And I tell you one thing, Dale, those things, that is 10 times harder than it is the alcohol. I can be around someone and they can be drunk, they can drink all day around me, doesn't bother me one bit. But if I get around a smoker, I want a cigarette. I do. I want a cigarette. It's so much.
yeah,
I don't know what is in those cigarettes, but it is to me. I can't say it for everybody. It's just my opinion. You know, and everybody has an opinion. I just quitting smoking for me is 10 times harder. Yeah.
well, it is a proven fact, and it's statistically speaking. Anybody can look this up on the internet. Quitting smoking is harder than quitting crack. It
Really.
is. It is. It's statistically speaking, giving up smoking is harder than giving up crack.
That's crazy.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah, I would like to know
I'd
what's
like
in a
to see
cigarette
those.
that
I'd like
makes
to see
people.
those people that they tested. I'm sorry. Dark
But
humor.
yeah, no, but then once again, cigarettes, something that is so accessible to us because you can purchase a cigarette anywhere.
10 years
Where
old.
crack, you have to know somebody.
Exactly.
I mean, I know
Exactly.
in the streets of America, yes, crack is probably on every corner like a drugstore. But at the same time, but yeah, there is something in cigarettes and the nicotine or whatever they make a cigarette with is so highly addictive
Hmm.
that people have the hardest time. And my dad was a smoker all of his life. He did that thing that was hypnotized. He quit smoking for like I want to say 6 months, and then a family member died, and on his way down to the funeral on the East Coast, he stopped, bought a pack of cigarettes, and he was just back to smoking.
Back to smoking
My
again.
dad was smoking close to 2 packs a day,
Hmm.
and
That's what my dad was. My dad was 2 packs a day of Marlboro Light 100s.
yeah, and I mean, I remember going on vacation with my dad. He brought like 3 cartons of cigarettes with him.
My dad did too. My dad bought like four, 4 or 5
so,
actually. I think.
so
Yeah,
yeah, so it
depending
was
on how
just
much he drank, depending on how much he drank, depending on how much he smoked.
and that is a thing too.
It is.
A lot of these combinations all go together,
They do.
smoking and drinking.
They do.
With my dad, I used to always joke like you can't talk to my dad until he's had a pot of coffee and 3 cigarettes. Then you might be able to talk to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's the battle. So I want to ask you, what is it that you do on a daily habit that if you get the urge, you do something to curb the urge?
Okay. And when I say this, and I raise my hand to baby Jesus up no up there to Lord God. When I say this, I honestly do not crave alcohol at all. I
That's
don't,
good.
because I am one of those people when I'm done, I'm done. I'm done. There's no
All right,
going back, because if I fail myself, I failed everybody else that had the same belief in me, and
wow.
that doesn't sit well with me as a person. So that's just me. Maybe it's my sign. I'm a Capricorn. Maybe I'm just like, when I'm done, I'm done. I'll
Right.
cut you off because I'm the doped.
Yeah.
But I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I honestly can say I don't crave alcohol, and I can. But I will say this: I think what really, truly, truly helped me out in not going back to drinking regular alcohol was non-alcoholic beer. Non-alcoholic beer tastes nowadays. They have Heineken, non-alcoholic. They have Corona. They have Stella Artois. They have bourbon, whiskey, rum, vodka, tequila, all non-alcoholic. I think because I like the buzz. I'm not going to lie and say I didn't, but I also liked the taste of beer. I was one of those people that really truly liked the taste of beer. So that taste of beer that I was getting was quenching that craving at first, and that's what really helped me. Now I don't even drink non-alcoholic beer.
Right.
So, there's just ways, there's always a way that you can find that's gonna either keep your mind off of it, or that's gonna trigger you. And you have to dig down deep. I did a lot of soul searching and shadow work last year, within myself, and had to give myself, not anybody else give it to me, my own self, this little girl right here, some real harsh realities, and say, look, you are not as perfect as you think you are. You did this to this person. You need to make amends. You did this to this person. You need to make amends. And that's what I've been
Yeah.
doing, and especially to the people that are closest to me that I see on a daily basis. I can't say it. I can't say enough how sorry I am for everything that I ever did to them. But
Sure.
as I sit here and say this, I know I've kind of gone off on a tangent. I'm sorry, a tangent. As I sit here and say this, I can only make up for it each and every day and be better than you think I ever could be,
Right.
to not only make you proud of me, but to make myself proud of me, because I didn't only do this for myself first and foremost, because I knew this was the best decision for me personally, and in the long run, health wise as well, because alcohol is not good for your body anyways, no matter what
Yeah.
amount you have. It just eats away at stuff it shouldn't. But what my whole point of saying all of this is, if I ever started drinking again, then that would mean I have to start all the way back over. And I don't want to start all the way back over when I've worked this hard to become the person that I am today. So that's pretty much
Right.
what it boils down to. I know that was I say a lot in a short amount of time. I'm sorry, I'm Southern.
Uh,
So
Never apologize for being you, because this is the
well,
person
thank
that
you.
everybody comes to love and know, and it's, yes, you do have to make, you essentially is good to make amends with past mistakes.
Absolutely. I don't beat
Anybody,
myself up though. I don't beat myself up though. I'm over
yeah,
that point. I am over
right,
that point, but I still will to this day every now and then say, I still really am sorry for everything that I've ever done to you. And they'll be like, well,
right,
just let me finish. I
yeah,
still really am sorry. And I just want to profusely
right,
apologize again. Most of the time
right,
they're like, I love you. I know you love me. I'm just saying it. Let me say
yeah.
it.
Well, and another really good point you made was, you really have to do this for yourself,
Yep.
to love yourself enough, because yes, drugs and alcohol are not good for our bodies, and
Mm-mm.
they do bad things, and we've lost some really good people because of drug and alcohol.
Absolutely.
uh,
I lost a
but
lot of friends.
you, most importantly, you did it to love yourself and to love the people around you again. To be who you are, you have to let it go, and you have to just keep moving forward.
Mhm.
That's the one of the things that I remember of what I've had to go through my issues in my life, is that, for one, I had to forgive myself,
Yeah.
to say, okay, yes, you screwed up, but it's okay.
Mhm.
It's, you let it go and you move forward, and you just do that for yourself. And then, for the people around you who you hurt, or you weren't so nice to, yeah, you can say sorry that what you did, but then it's up on them to decide what they want to do with that apology.
Mhm.
If they choose never to forgive you, well, that's on them. But you forgave yourself already, so their
Exactly.
approval is not
Not needed.
necessarily needed. But like I said, it's always a good thing to go back, mend fences, and say, "Yeah, look, I'm human. I screwed up. Oh
Yeah.
well." It's about a part of life's journey. We have to go through things to understand the experiences, and to move forward with whatever it is that we need to deal with. Truly amazing. And like I said, I'm so proud that you made that post that day. That takes a lot of courage to put yourself out on social media. It is a mean and cruel place, as we all know. It is
It is.
full of people who are judgmental, who think they live a perfect life, but all they are keyboard warriors who don't want to face their own life's problems. So they think by putting down other people for doing what you are doing, uh, that gives them right to say nasty comments, or to throw it back in your face, because you're just doing the best decision you can for you, your family, and the people that care the most about you.
Exactly. And that's
It,
all I'm worried about. That's why I keep my circle small. And if you're in it, I will love you I will love you to the ends of this earth and until the day that I die. Because if I have opened myself up, and especially if you have helped me and been there for me, through everything that I decided to start doing with my life last year, and you didn't run, that means you're a ride or die. And that means you're going to be in my life forever. And whether you want to leave or not, you're not, because
Right.
you're in my life and I'm not letting you go. So,
That and I feel the same way. I truly came to understand people don't come into my life by accident. There's a
yes,
reason why
sir.
people have come into my life, and I appreciate
Absolutely.
each and everybody who's come into my life.
I do too,
It,
whether they were a lesson or whether they were here to do the long haul with you.
that's
So,
right. I can't believe almost a whole hour has gone by already. This has
I
been a
know.
truly amazing journey.
Oh,
But
thank you.
I'm going to give you this next several minutes as long as you want to take. If you have a message for anybody out there, anybody who is struggling, anybody who's going through anything, this I want to give you the opportunity just to spew whatever it is you want to talk about and give them some encouraging words as well.
Okay. All right, well, as y'all all know, I'm Rachel Bradley. 402 days sober, as I've already forementioned. Speaking with Dale here. Again, Dale, thank you so much for having me, sir. I greatly appreciate you. Um, if you are out there struggling with any addiction issues, whether it be as simple as alcohol or, as bad as the harder drugs out there, heroin, crack cocaine, stuff like that, please reach out to someone that you are comfortable with speaking with someone about your addiction issues with. Don't try to hide it, because whether you think you're hiding it, there's going to be someone out there that's going to notice. And that someone is either going to do something about it or they're not. And it could either be a detrimental situation for yourself or for them, or it could be the light at the end of the tunnel that you need. If you are thinking about any suicidal thoughts, please call this International Suicide Hotline that is at the bottom of the screen scrolling.
Yeah.
And again, if you don't have anybody to reach out to me. We can have a chat. We can talk. I can try to help you through this as much as possible, or either try to find someone that might be closer to you that could help you out. That's about all I
Absolutely. Absolutely. Rachel, it is my absolute pleasure and honor that you came on here today to open yourself up to an audience that you might know. A lot of people on the side you do know,
got.
but there's a lot of people that are going to be watching this show live right now. There's people who are going to be watching the show tomorrow, the next day, and a week from now, and you are going to inspire somebody to rethink their lives and to realize that help is just a phone call away.
It is.
So
If I
I
inspire
I
one
am
person, that's all.
I
That's all I
I
need.
am so proud of you
Thank
and
you. Well,
absolutely
love you
everybody
too,
on this.
Stephen.
So just keep up doing what you're doing. I look forward to seeing those numbers go higher and higher, which
Me
each
too.
day that you remain sober. Stay blessed, stay positive, and most of all, keep up the good work. And
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll all see each other again real soon. For everybody listening, everybody who's watching, everybody who supports this show, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, please subscribe. You get to watch more inspiring stories like this. And of course, I'm all about the mental health aspect. I suffer from mental health. So, yes, if you are struggling with mental health and you need somebody to reach out to, yes, the International Suicide Hotline, 988, text or talk, uh, text talk to, I think it's 97189, and somebody will be always there to talk to you. And know, first and foremost, you are not alone in any battle. You always got a support line. So, everybody, thank you for an amazing show, Rachel. Take
Thank
care
you,
of
Dale.
yourself. We will
Thanks,
be in
everybody.
touch
Love
for
y'all.
sure. And with that, guys, I'm going to say amazing good night and watch out for the next episode of Seeking Bites Podcasts, where I'm going to have more inspirational stories, or we're going to talk about inspirational stories. In the meantime, I always like to say, you all matter out there. I love you. Have a blessed day. Have a good night.